Hey, it's Joy. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am sharing 3 cards for Christmas in July using some of my favorite Pixi Dust Designs products. So I am sharing the Christmas props dies, which makes a really cute Santa's hat, an elf hat, a reindeer, and a naughty and nice sign. And then the ugly vest die, which makes 2, like they said, ugly vest. But I think they're pretty adorable. And then finally, the penguin mug die, which is super cute. And you could absolutely mix and match these dies to create whatever you see fit. So as a rule of thumb, I like to die cut everything and then start piecing things together. So here I'm showing you how many pieces of what I cut out. So in a cream colored cardstock, I did the kind of the antlers and the ears of the deer, and then I used some craft cardstock and I add the brown portions of the ears and the face, and then from there I decided to layer on some colors using my Copic. So I'm using a W1 and a W00 just to add some shading to the antlers before I apply them. Now, if you're not a Copic fan or don't want to do the extra coloring, you wouldn't have to do this. You could use some distress inks or anything. But then I use my Barely Art glue and I go ahead and attach the antlers. The reason I did the 2 layers basically is because I like a lot of dimension on my cards. And then I came in with my R11 to color in the ears, just again to give a little bit more detail to my die cuts. These aren't necessary steps, but I think they make all the difference in the world. Here I am fidgeting with the elf hat because I decided that this little guy needed a hat. So I glued the hat on behind the ears, and then once that was adhered, I brought the tip of the hat forward so it was hanging over the antler. And then I brought in the handle of the prop and a gold bell for the elf hat. I think this turned out super cute, and it will come and play here in a few minutes on my card. And of course, I always add highlights to my pieces using a white gel pen. Now I'm coloring in the Santa's hat and beard using a C1 and a C00, and I just make sure to flick in the color to add some dimension here, and then I blend that out with the C00 so that I don't get a lot of harsh lines. Now I just wanted to remind you that all my products that I used will be linked in the description box below if you're interested. They're from Pixi Dust Designs. And as I finish up the coloring, I also decided that I needed some glasses to connect the this prop, so that will come in here in a minute. To add a little bit more interest to the Santa's hat, I colored it in with an R29 and a 24 just to add some dimension and some interest to the hat. You could do the same thing with any ink, like the distress inks or a dye ink, a distress oxide. And here I am gluing on the fuzzy part of the hat. Just again, I added a little bit of that C0. And here I'm adding the nose and the handle to the glasses. And from there, I go ahead and glue down the beard and the mustache of Santa. This is super easy to put together, and I think that you'll find that these are super fun to make. Anytime I think of any ugly Christmas sweater party that I've gone to, we always had a little photo station, so I think Pixi Dust Designs nailed this release. Here I'm adding the hat just by gluing 2 little dots on the glasses. I used some polka dot paper from my stash, and I decided to make my own Polaroid, so I used a rectangle and then added a white square to that to make the rectangle. So that's an easy way to make a Polaroid type die if you don't, or element if you don't have a die. Then on a card base, I put down some plaid paper, and now I'm applying the faux Polaroid to it. I did pop that up on double-sided adhesive sheets just because I wanted some added interest and texture. Then I glue the Santa prop off to the left, kind of off to the side, and then I add the deer as well. And then I try to decide what I want to do for a sentiment. I take that back. I colored in the Santa's mouth with the R11. So I have this ho ho ho, and I decided I needed a little bit more interest to it, so I die cut that in white, and I'm taking one of the ho ho ho's and making it white, so we're going to have 2 green and 1 white, and I layer those up, and then I put that across the picture, and I call that done. Sorry that my head got in the way. And now I'm coming in with this penguin mug, and I die cut that in black, and then with craft I use the coffee, and then I'm using the little pieces to construct the wings, and those are teeny tiny, and so you're going to see that I kind of have this zoomed pretty close. That's because my vision's not always the best, so I had to have it up close to me. I then die cut the solid part of the scarf in pink, and then the outline portion of it in green, and I just apply that down to the center portion of the mug, and I make sure to have the tie part of it kind of off-centered onto the mug. I think this was a cute element. I think you could even pop it up and give it even more dimension, but I think my cards end up having enough as is. Then I apply the eyes, and what I like about the eyes is that all 3 little spots are die cut out, so you don't have to worry about losing pieces. And then you've got the eyebrows, the beak, and the cheeks that I am using a crafter's wand just to assist me in that because those pieces are so tiny. But this is very, very easy to construct, and I think that you would have a blast doing so. For the whipped cream, I come in with a W1 Copic marker and just flick some color in from the side just to give it some texture, just like whipped cream would. You could use like an E42 or 41 if you didn't have a W1. And again, you could use your inks to do the same thing with like a blending brush or a dauber. I just have my Copics right next to me, so that's what I always go to. And I glue this to the top, leaving just a hint of the coffee showing. I don't pop it up either. And then I add this to some snowflake paper, and I die cut the Keep It Cozy from the Ugly Vest die for the sentiment, and then I pop up the entire penguin mug. And to finish it off, I do add a few pink gems because I think every card needs a little bit of bling. I added these pink candy canes, and at first I used my gel pen for that, and I wanted more texture, so I used white enamel accents, and I just very carefully added some dots to make the candy cane more 3-dimensional. This is just a fun little tip and trick if you like to add just some pops of interest to your cards. And so we're going to finish up this card here in just a second. You're going to see that bling, and I think that makes all the difference in the world once that bling is on there. No card should be without shimmer and shine, am I right? So for the Ugly Vest, I embossed that after die cutting it with a embossing folder from my stash, and then I glued that to another piece of white cardstock just so that it would be a little bit thicker. And then you'll also see that the elements of the garment, the collar and around the arms, are also die cut in white. I made this super simple, as if Santa's it was like Santa's day off. So I glue those each to the side, and again I have that really close up to me so I could see all the pieces. Man, I need to get some glasses. Anyway, I then apply some peppermint candy paper to the card base, and then using a piece of black cardstock, I popped that up on foam as well, and I wrapped some twine around it just for some added interest. You probably could leave this off because it's black on black, but I like a little bit of texture. And then I die cut the hanger from the Ugly Vest die in gold, and I put that cattywampus towards the top left using my Barely Art Glue just to add a little bit of shine to my card. And then I take my Ugly Vest die and I pop that up onto some foam onto the hanger. Super cute, right? Then I have to worry about my sentiments. So at first I had it in red and it didn't work, but then I applied it in black and I think it's super cute. And then I added a few banners from my stash. Here are the final looks at my 3 cards. I love this release. It's super fun, and I think we could use this all year round just by changing up some of the elements. So thank you so much for hanging out with us. Bye friends, until next time, keep crafting. Bye bye.